Hey everyone, Urban Fish Keeper here. I hope you're all doing well and you've had a good week. It's Friday evening here in Australia and I'm doing a project tonight and I thought I'd share it with you as I go through the build. Now, it wasn't a project that I intended to do, but it's been brought about because my wife has put doubt in my mind. So, as you all know, I spoke about this aquarium last time. This is the one that was donated to me by Dennis. It was donated to the channel. And what I've done is I've put this on a Racket 400 system. I've left the top frame that was part of the original stand that it came on. I put that on here. And to be quite honest, I think it will be perfectly fine. But my wife has said, oh, there's a little bit of an overhang there. Aren't you worried that it's maybe going to bow a little bit in the center and it could cause... So anyway, self-doubt. I'm reasonably comfortable that this would have worked, but anyway, that's no longer a discussion point. So what I've decided is I'm actually going to build a pine stand for this, particularly for this tank, but also one that can take the sump underneath. So what I've done is I've just gone and I've cut the majority of the wood, not all of it. I'll probably have to finish this off tomorrow. But what I'm going to do tonight is I'm gonna create the frames, so the bottom frame and the top frame, and I'll show you that as I go through it. Then so the frames are the sides, the front and the backs. Then I'm going to put the legs in and then put in the support. So from a carrying capacity, the wood that I'm using is just straightforward pine from Bunnings. So I bought this from Bunnings Warehouse. And it's 70 by 30 mil. So 70 that way, okay, 70 by 30 thick. Now, I try to look to determine what the carrying capacity is or what pressure this wood can take, against the grain or on the grain. And I struggled to find anything. I found some references and it looks like, because this is untreated and it's quite a soft pine, I can probably, it can take a load of just over 200 kilograms per leg. So I intend building this with 6 legs. So effectively the stand will be able to take 1,200 kilos, so 1.2 tons. So I don't have any concerns about it having the ability to carry the weight. I'm not going to put a reinforcement along the bottom of the new stand, and I'll show you that when I do it, because I'm putting the sump straight down on the floor, on polystyrene, but straight down on the floor. I'm probably not even going to paint the stand or stain it or anything. I'm probably just going to use it as is. I'll see what it looks like when it's finished. I might put vinyl on it or something, but at this stage, because the plan was I wanted to get this tank. So tomorrow morning I'm going to go get some rocks and some tubing and so forth, so I can start getting the pumps and that connected. And the idea is to run this with fresh water for a good few days, clean off the inside, make sure that everything's flowing right, nothing's leaking, the pumps are working right. Some of you may have noticed in the previous video that there's a chiller next to it as well, and it was a chiller I had in the garage, so I want to pump some water through there. That chiller hasn't been used in probably 5-6 years, so I really want to get some water through the chiller as well. So that's what I wanted. That's the plan for the weekend, is to try and get this up and running with fresh water, and then next weekend adding some some substrate and make sure, and then start putting in some filter media and that kind of stuff. I might actually put the filter media in tomorrow. I might get some of that as well, and start it running. From a project to build a pine stand, based on what I'm using, the 70 by 30s, what you'll need is you'll need some screws. I've gone with 50 mil screws, so it can go, this is 30 mil, so it can go through and 20 mil into the other side, and you'll see why, because for some of the reinforcements you have it doubled up. You need a screwdriver, either a hand one or a drill type screwdriver. You need screwdriver, you need normal things, a pencil, a square, just normal tools that you would work with, and that's about it, because everything just gets screwed together. And you know, just make sure you don't need a table saw to do this. You can cut this by hand. What I've done for the calculation of this, what I've said is, what's the length, what's the width, and what height do I want. So I've gone, and because there's such a shortage on wood at the moment in Australia, well, in the Bunnings that I go to, I wasn't able to get this in longer lengths. I could only get it in 1.2. The challenge with that is that the tank is a little bit longer than 1.2. It's 1.23 something. So where I would normally have the end pieces fitting in between the front and the back, the end pieces will now fit on the end of the front and the back. And I've just reduced the length of the front and the back pieces so that it fits and gives me the total length and support, so that it's on all four sides. And then of course there'll be a reinforcement section in the center, and then reinforcements on the legs. Although the legs are built as the structure, there's reinforcement against the legs. Anyway, I go on. All right, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start by making the frames, the top and the bottom frame. I'm going to put that together, and then I'll show you what I've done and explain where I go to from there. All right, I'll be back shortly. All right, just to run through the tools again that you need. I've got a couple of clamps, some corner clamps. You need a tape measure, a square, a pencil, and then you've got your drill, as well as your driver for screwing the screws in. Some bits if required, because I like to make pilot holes. And then the first part is we're going to construct that frame, and we're going to construct one that is identical to it, and then we put effectively the legs in, which gives you the height, and then the reinforcements. Let me do the frames, and then I'll get back to this, and I'll show you where we go to from there. Okay, so I'm trying to get the camera and not the reflection in the mirror behind and so forth. So what I've done at this stage is I've built two of these frames. So this is what these frames look like. And that's the frame, they're identical. The top one is the one that the tank will stand on. The other thing I've then done is I've put the four legs into the corners, and I've screwed those in. What will happen now is I will put the top frame on, but these legs don't actually hold the weight of the aquarium. They're really just there to give you a structure to work on. What happens now is I've got four of these pieces, which are slightly shorter by the depth of the top and bottom frame, and those fit on here like that. Oh, sorry, my apologies, the wrong piece. There we go. Fit on there. And as you can see, you've got this gap up here, and that gets screwed against that, and the other frame then fits on top here and rests on there. And it's this piece of wood here that takes all the weight. Okay, so that four pieces all the way around that the top frame fits on, that's the one that takes all the weight. But from a construction point of view, it's really quite straightforward. It's two frames. You put in the four legs gives you the height. You then got the support pieces which go flush up against here, and the frame then fits on top of that. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put the support pieces in, put the frame on, the top frame on, and I probably will call it then for tonight. Have some dinner and carry on with it tomorrow. Hey everyone, so Saturday, and I've continued to build the stand, and I'm actually finished building the stand now. So I did a bit of running around this morning. I need to go get some stuff for this aquarium, and I came back and I've finished it off. What I would say is that I've used probably twice as many screws as what you need to use. The other thing is I've also put in quite a lot of cross braces across the top. And if I tilt it this way, you can see what I mean. What I've done as well is I've just cut, I had some spare wood in the garage. I've just cut a board like this just to go on top, just to finish it off. and I will attach that to the top of this, on top of the stand, and then polystyrene goes on and the tank will go straight onto that. Now, I just wanted to once again go through a couple of things. So when building the stand, important thing is you build two frames. You build the top frame and you build the bottom frame, and both frames are identical, right? So the sides, the front and the back, and the ends, and you build those two frames identical. Then you put the legs in, and the legs are basically from the ground. So you put the bottom frame on the bottom, on the ground, you attach the leg, screw the leg into that bottom frame, and the legs really just give you the structure to your stand. It doesn't give you the strength. Once you've done that and you've put the legs on, what you do then is before you put the, before you attach or screw in the top frame, what you then do is you put in the support pieces, which I showed briefly early in the video. Now, these pieces are the ones that are actually taking all the weight. So you've got one in the front, so it fits between the frames, right? And it backs up against the leg. And then on the ends, you've got exactly the same thing. Don't know if you can see it clearly in there, but the ends exactly the same against the top frame, the bottom frame, it fits in between, and that's what gives your strength. So effectively, you've got four of those that are holding or taking the weight. And then because I'm going to have a sump on the bottom, what I've done is I've done exactly the same bracing across the bottom as what I've done across the top. Okay, so that cross braces that I've put in, I've done the same. Now, if this was a little bit bigger than a 4-foot tank, I probably would have gone with a center leg as well. And I was originally going to go with a center leg, and that was part of the design in my head, was to go with a center leg as well. The challenge though to me was what I'd forgotten about was that I was putting a sump on here, and if I put the center leg in the way I've designed it, because I couldn't get wood long enough, and I had to go with the end pieces onto as opposed to the end pieces inside these two sections, what that meant was that I couldn't get the sump in the bottom with the uprights in the center. So ideally, that's how I would have built it. But I've put reinforcements for this, the sump in the bottom. The sump will fit on there now. This should be fine. I mean, it's got the cross braces. It's 70 mil. It's not a massive length. The benefit of having a center leg is that the center legs prevent the frame from twisting, and it's the twisting that sometimes causes the tanks to crack. But I feel reasonably comfortable that we'll be okay. We'll try it out, and hopefully it'll be okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to move the tank on here, try and set that all up tonight just to run with fresh water, try and get the sump up and running as well, and the pump and everything else with fresh water, and leave it for probably a week or so and just see how it goes. I might put some of the rocks in it as well initially, just to get that all washed off, because I'll drain it afterwards, and I'll do it from scratch. So that's it really, quick Friday night, Saturday project, just to build a frame. These are really sturdy if you build them like this, and based on the 70 by 30, my calculation was that it can take about 200 kilos or so per leg. So this should be able to take 800 kilograms, no problem. I think it'll take more, to be quite honest, because it's quite solid. My only concern, of course, would have been I don't have a center leg, but I think we're okay there. All right, thanks a lot for watching once again. Have a good weekend further, and next weekend I'll probably run through what I've done on this, on the 4-foot that was donated, what I've connected up there, what pump I'm running, and some of the challenges I may have with it while setting it up and getting it running some fresh water. Anyway, guys, have an awesome weekend further. Have a good week as well. Stay safe, look after yourselves. Urban Fish Keeper out.